Hey everybody, Ian Campbell here, CEO of Mission Suite. I hope you're all doing well and that you're enjoying this, late Tuesday evening. So today I want to talk a little bit about something that I've alluded to in a couple of the past live videos that I've done, and that is lead scoring. So there's a couple different methods of lead scoring, but first of all, and I know that there's not a lot of people looking at this video right now, but when you're watching this later, if you know what lead scoring is, I'd love it if you just give me right now, just like whether it's a thumbs up or it's a yes, I know, or something like that. Just give me some sort of acknowledgement so I know, kind of for future videos, what kind of a knowledge base of specific to lead scoring that we have here. But lead scoring at its highest level is basically just that, right? It's scoring leads based on information that you have about that lead, right? So it's scoring leads based on the contact information that you have on them. It's scoring, which is called demographic lead scoring. If activity scoring is another type of lead scoring, and that's actually scoring people based on what they've done and information they've interacted with on your whether it's on your content, on your website, in your emails, with your salespeople, whatever the case might be. But lead scoring is actually a really, really important aspect of marketing, especially these days, because now we have all these different tools and all these different things that we use, whether it's email marketing, website tracking, Facebook, and et cetera, et cetera. But how are we actually tracking that engagement, right? Because ultimately we want to know what's worth continuing, and more importantly, who's worth following up on. And so lead scoring is the way that we can do that. So with lead scoring, I'll kind of break this into two different parts. First of all, demographic information. So demographic lead scoring is quite simply making sure that you're not talking to the janitor when you want to be talking to the chief administrator. And that actually comes out of a story that I heard from a client of mine who literally was doing his marketing, and he was running marketing for a medical device company, and he would go out and do Facebook ads, do LinkedIn stuff, do all these different things, and bunch of people from these different hospitals were downloading material and kind of becoming leads. Well, the problem was that when they passed those leads on to the sales team would come back and say, these are terrible, right? These are not leads, and so I'm going to stop calling on the people that you're dealing with. And so what they realized was that all these great leads that they were producing from all these different hospitals around the country were actually coming from the janitors and the facility managers of these hospitals. And again, if you're trying to deal with a chief administrator, talking to the janitor isn't going to get you anywhere, right? So demographic lead scoring is a great way to identify that, to help you kind of work through that. So for example, if you let's say you want to talk to the CEO, or maybe in my case, I want to talk to the vice president of sales and the director of marketing, or somebody in that realm. I want to be so I can create a lead scoring system that will take my demographic information. So every form that I have people fill out will have a title field in it, right? And that's required. So they're required to give me their title when they fill out that information, so that I know that if it's VP of sales, then it's worth 100 points. If it's a business owner, it's worth 100 points. Whatever the case might be, right? If it's in a specific geographic territory, maybe I only work in the U.S., or maybe I only work in Colorado or New York or California, whatever that might be, you're able to score that. And so leads that are outside of that realm, leads that maybe, if I work in Colorado, leads that are in Texas, aren't good leads for me. So I know that, and I can help. It helps me to kind of sift through the rest and help me find the best, to use a cliched rhyme. So as far as demographics go, it's hugely important to make sure that you have all that information, and that's one of the ways that you can leverage that. The nice thing is that, again, if you're using a system like Mission Suite, you can track all of that, and it shows right in the system, and you can there's a bunch of different ways you can filter by that, and so that, again, when you're going out and doing your sales activities, you're only actually working inside of that with the leads that actually make sense. Second of all, we'll go to the activity lead scoring. So activity lead scoring is based on interactions with your content, interactions with your sales team, interactions with your website, downloads, sign-up forms, all those different things, right? So basically, any activity, any action that your contacts might take. So if I read an email, that's worth a point. If I click on an email, that's worth 3 points. If I download a piece of content from your website, that's worth 20 points, right? So again, kind of using that same system, we can actually create a series of steps that allows us to say, okay, so this gives you, so all this different engagement, all these different activities that you're tracking with. Now I'm able to say, okay, fantastic, thank you for doing that. Now you're a good lead for me. Because again, using a similar situation to the whole janitor versus hospital administrator thing, if you're talking to a CEO, just because he filled out the newsletter form on your website doesn't necessarily mean that he's interested enough to actually have a conversation with you. And so if you send that CEO's contact information over to the sales team calls up Mr. CEO and says, hey, how you doing? You filled out our form and I want to have a conversation with you. And they say, well, no, that's not why I filled out your form. I just wanted information. And by the way, unsubscribe me. Then all of a sudden, everything is screwed up, right? And so there's this disconnect between marketing and sales pretty often, and for no small reason, because of these kinds of differing mentalities. And of course, I'm using exaggerated examples right now. But even in the more nuanced things, you're seeing this on a pretty regular basis, and this is something that leaders of sales and marketing teams have had to deal with for a very long time. So this lead scoring system is one way that we can actually create that alignment in between sales and between marketing, so that everybody's speaking the same language. We all know the same goals, and we all know how to create qualified, solid leads from the content from your marketing efforts. So again, lead scoring, hugely important. Mission Suite enables you to do that. There are a number of other systems that enable you to do that as well. Of course, Mission Suite is the best. But realistically, seriously, look into lead scoring one way or another, because you want to make sure that we only have so much time in the day, right? Especially if you're a business owner, if you're leading a small sales team, or if you just, frankly, nobody has time to chase down bad leads, right? And even if you're a salesperson inside a large sales team or leading a large sales team, then you don't have the time to go after crap. So make sure that the people that you're talking to are the people that you want to be talking to, and lead scoring will help you do that. So anyway, go check out the Mission Suite's website, www.themissionsuite.com. It's going to tell you, we've got some information there on lead scoring. We've got some information on the blog on lead scoring, and there's a webinar that we did recently about aligning sales marketing and how we do that with lead scoring. So go check that out. I'll link to it in the comments here, and like, comment, share. Tell me what you want me to talk about, and I'm looking forward to talking more. All right, all have a good night. Cheers.